Shalom everybody, this is Michael from THWH Games, and today I'm talking to artists about sales. So if you're a 2D artist or a 3D artist and that you don't belong to THWH Games, you need to consider that you're broke because nobody knows who you are. And if nobody knows who you are, how are you going to sell your services to people? You've got to do something different with your life. You've got to get known. So I suggest taking a sales training program. I'm going to put my links down in the description below for Cardone University. If you're a 3D artist or a 2D artist, you need to really seriously consider signing up for these programs. Now, you might be thinking, I don't want to be a salesperson. Now, you gotta think differently. You are a business. You yourself are a business. If nobody knows who you are, how are people going to give you a call? You think magically people are going to be able to find you and then want to give you money just because you're good at what you do? No. What you do typically is you go to forums and you post your stuff and you hope lightning strikes one day and somebody says, hey, you're pretty good, let me pay you for something. But what ends up happening most of the time is that artists do show and tell. This is what I can do. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. Like, that's not getting you anywhere. You got to do something different with your life. So I suggest clicking the link and signing up for a sales program. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's a problem. Not because the price is a problem, but because your perspective of what you're clicking on is a problem. When you were going to art school, did you learn how to do sales? No. When you were in college, did you learn how to do sales? No. Did you learn how to do it in high school? No. So then at what point in your life do you think that you're actually going to learn it? You think the company is responsible for teaching you these things? They are not. I am not responsible for providing for my people. Now, as a business owner, that sounds a little iffy, but that's the truth. I don't want to pay overhead. I don't want to pay it. I don't want to pay somebody's insurance. Like, that business model is old school. That's my parents' generation, grandparents' generation. That is not what the video game industry is moving towards. I do not want to have a building. I don't need people coming into my location, sitting down for 8 hours a day and going home. Everybody's got a laptop who's in our industry. Everybody's got a desktop. If you don't have one, you have the other. And I would rather work on a beach as long as I got my power supply. So why would I want people to come into my office, which I have to pay rent to and I have to pay electricity to? No, you should be able to handle that yourself. I want to hire artists that are responsible. I want to hire artists that show up to work on time. I want to hire artists who are hungry. I want to hire artists that can show me that they're doing something else with their life rather than having me find work for them. That creates a value, okay? And that's what THWH Games does, is we teach artists how to value themselves, okay? So click that link about Cardone University and learn a new perspective. I'll start linking other videos. I have a web page that's coming of my favorite stuff from Grant. All right. I sell things on my website because I'm passionate about those things, and those things change my life. You don't have to sell those same things. You can do and become an affiliate with somebody else with other things that you like. Eventually, I'd like to start selling video games and maybe even Transformers on my website. I'd love to be able to do that. My website is my portfolio, and it reflects me and my interests. Does your website do that? Does your portfolio do that? If your portfolio is only, look what I can do, you are going to be hurting bad in the upcoming years. So you got to do something different. So let me give you an example of what it takes to be a salesperson. Number one, you have to learn how to build trust with your network. Learn to build trust with your audience. People, you've heard it on YouTube. People will buy things from people that they know, like, and trust, right? So we understand that you don't have to like anybody. We understand you don't have to trust anybody. We understand that you don't have to know somebody. But if you're buying a product from someone, especially an expensive one, those three things help a lot. And how do you build trust with someone? You have to have understanding. So it's written in Isaiah 11:2, the Spirit of the Lord will rest upon me, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, of counsel and of power, of knowledge, and the delight in the fear I'm sorry, the fear of the Lord and the delight in the fear of the Lord. That's 7 spirits. Sevenfold Spirit of God, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, will rest upon a person. So I grew up hearing, oh, salespeople are manipulative. And I think that depending on the person, not the product, but the person, it can be true. So what they teach at Cardone University is that understanding is not manipulation. If I have a product that I'm passionate about and I'm trying to pass off to you and offer it to you as a service, it's because my product will change your life. That's it. My product will change your life. And so now where the trust comes is, how can I trust you that what you're selling me will change my life? That's where you have to build the trust. Typically, people have objections when they're trying to trust you, right? There's 4 types of major objections. Grant Cardone teaches that, number 1, the price is too high. Number 2, I have to think about it. Number 3, I have to go talk to my spouse or business person about it. Number 4, I don't make rash decisions. We take time in making these kinds of sales purchases and sales decisions. Now, I believe when I first heard those put like that, I was like, oh my God, that's the majority of my problem when I deal with sales. So you have to learn how to handle those objections. And so when somebody tells you as an artist, hey, your price is too high for this, yes, it is. It is too high. But I have to explain to you why it's so high. So what you need is trust backed by facts. Trust backed by facts. My 3D models are expensive because not only do I build my stuff that looks good, but my edge loops are right, because I don't build from a modeler's perspective. I don't build from a 3D concept perspective. I build for the animator and the technical director, because that's what I do. Is I am an animator and technical director. I am a stickler for bad edge loops because I want to be able to do this with my shoulder, and I can't do that when back is on a grid. Okay, you have to build your edge loops in a specific way. I'll show that in another video at another point in time. So I want you guys to think about and consider that you need to do something with your life other than just make art. And just ask yourself this question. And for those of you who have seen me in my speaking engagements or in a classroom setting, I have asked this question over and over again. Does McDonald's sell the best cheeseburger in the whole world? And it's not a metaphor, it's not a trick question, it's a yes or no question. So out of the whole world, does McDonald's build the best cheeseburger in the whole world? No, they don't. Who does? And you don't know. And the reason why you don't know is because you've never been around the whole world. All you know is your local environment. So you have to ask yourself this question. If McDonald's is not the best, how come they're better than the person who sells the best cheeseburger in the whole world? It's because they're known. Somebody knows about them. They're marketing, and they pay high-end marketing dollars. You don't have marketing dollars? Click the link below. Listen, sales training teaches you how to acquire funding. Rich people do not spend their own money on projects. They raise capital. Ricky Bobby hands. They raise capital. They spend other people's money on the project. Video games are not a lucrative business. The reason why Yahweh Games is not exclusively a video game company, it's because it's expensive. And the consumer thinks that just because they clicked on your product, they should get the product for free. And so the video game industry, especially the indie industry, has trained the consumer that they can basically get games for free. It's a bad business model. We'll talk about that in another video. But for today, if you walk away with anything, you have to walk away with how to handle an objection. Your price is too high. I have to talk about it with my spouse or my business partner. I have to think about it. Or I don't make rash decisions. Okay? Those last 3 are basically called time stalls. So how are you going to handle it? Write down your top 10 objections and leave them in the comments below. You don't have to list all 10, but list your top objections in the comments. I'd really like to go through them and find out how we can solve this problem. I know I'm expensive, but I'm damn good at what I do. So I hope you guys have a good day, and keep your head up. Shalom, shalom.